So we are on Nun Beis. And we're actually on the line, 6 lines from the top. The line begins with the word Eliki. I would like to go back 3 lines, 2 lines up, with the beginning of the parentheses, because I couldn't go in too deeply into this the last time, first of all because of the time and because they were, I think, they had enough for one class last time. I don't know if you remember. It was a very deep, involving class. So I want to start from the parentheses, 3 or 4 lines from the top of the page. And the Rebbe explained before the parentheses the principle that even though that the creation is from the Shem Elokim, and Shem Elokim is Mitzamtzem, is a Tzimtzum. Nevertheless, there is the Oir of Shem Havaya that comes through the Shem Elokim. And if you remember, to get us a handle on this scene, was it the Oir of Shem Havaya? Shem Havaya is Bli Gvul. Shem Elokim is Gvul. So, using our analogy, our mashal, of provisions being given out through a window. Remember that? So when you come to the window and you say, I need such and such, so you're given what you need. That's the Hagbolah. You're given what you need. Because you need it, that's what you're given. That's Hagbolah, that's Shem Elokim. Where is the Shem Havaya, the Bli Gvul in this? The Bli Gvul in this is the sense that this window is always going to stay open. And anytime I come over, anytime I need, I have a window to come over to. So this is the way the Bli Gvul of it.
In the personal life, like Bli Gvul, it will be the person feels he's all the time alive.
Oh, so the Rebbe gave the mashal, not the mashal. The Rebbe said that the presence of Shem Havaya is actually recognizable in the world, in our own experience. And what is that? That everyone is margish shu chai. Yes, sir. You with me? Everyone is margish shu chai. And we discussed this. and putting it in parallel, to correlating it to the muscle of the window. A person needs various things in the world. He needs to work, he needs to go from place to place, he needs to eat, he needs to do all kinds of different things. When he needs them, he says, okay, I need to get a cup of tea, so you have to get up, walk, so he can get up. Now I need to get up so he can get up. I need to do this and I can do this. What happens between the time when I don't need to do anything? I don't need to do anything. What do I have then? I have then the sense I'm alive. And this sense is a very profound sense that is alive. Actually, it's hard to identify this sense. This is really beyond the seichel. But one thing, the way it expresses it in seichel is that at any time that I should need, any time, I have the life to do it with. I don't have to all of a sudden, if I have to get up, now I have to ignite the engine and start and make it go. I'm alive all the time. It's there whether I need it or not. This Indian is there whether I need it or not. This is the Indian from Shema Havaya. It's not the gvul, it's bli gvul. This is, you follow this?
By outside, by treasure, like
What?
by treasure, when you come to the window, by window.
Yeah.
So you sometimes you don't have when you come to get it, but the life you always alive. Never, the person cannot never feel not alive.
But this is what I'm explaining. By the window, also, where do you see the bli gvul in the window? That the window is always there, whether I need it or not. So that when I will need it, it's there. The Indian, so as I said, in life, of course, it's a much deeper Indian. But this, to correlate the muscle to the nimshal, is that in the nimshal we have this Indian that if I should translate the Indian of life, or in terms of activity, it would be this way. But really, it's much deeper.
It would be what?
Huh?
It would be what? It would be what?
It would be in the sense that that I'm always in the state that should I need to do anything, I'm able to do it. Even if I don't need anything. But should I need anything, I'm able to do it. But this is the chitzonius of it. On the pnimis, on the deeper in, there is like a sense of life itself. And in truth, if we go deeper into the mushal, this open window serves a person not just that when he needed, he will have a window to approach. The Gemara says there's a principle that's called pas b'saloi. You learned about that? What's pas b'saloi? He doesn't need it. Pas b'saloi gives a person a sense of comfort. He's not hungry because he has pas b'saloi. So, in other words, this has a real effect. Again, this is only a muscle to a nimshal. But the nimshal, in a nimshal, there is the union that margish hu chai. This is the actual connection to Ein Sof, to a godly presence.
What about when people become old? They start feeling with did not have such a lively from before, such amount the highest vitality, the
Right. Right. So he doesn't, the highest he has. He doesn't have the goof, the physical strength. The highest is the same. Highest is exactly the same. Doesn't have the physical strength to do it. The highest, the feeling of the highest is exactly the same to the very last breath.
So it's never changed. In the essence,
That's right.
essence,
Never change. This is truly a presence called Shem Havaya, because this is not measured. It's not meted out in, as needed. It is there all the time. Because it's a reality itself.
So even when a person passes away, has a shalom to
And the Neshama keeps on living, yes. So the point of the Milem over here is to say not only that there is a Shem Havaya, but that the Shem Elikim is Megala the Shem Havaya. The meaning that there is a Shem Havaya, that stands to reason. That's logical, because this is the source of all creation, of all koyach. The meaning that there is Shem Havaya in terms of our moshel, it would be that everything that you gets from the storage house. But it's detached from the storage house. You have no connection to the storage house. You know what I'm saying? So this is like, you come from there, but you don't have a connection to it. The point that the Rebbe is saying is that the Shem Elikim does not really conceal the Shem Havaya. It only brings it. Because we actually sense it. We actually feel it. Feel its presence. We feel the presence of Shem Havaya. We feel the presence of Ein Sof. Even though we have a finite body and a finite activity, a limited life, and we feel the Ein Sof. Magishu Achai. This is Shem Havaya.
How it's revealed? It's concealed, but not completely, that it's remain a little bit that it yes to remain. Why we not say like it's up, Shem Elikim, it's yes, Miguel. It's concealed, but not totally. Like it's remain the window to be.
It's concealed only to the extent that it should be recognized through a limited window, a limited experience. But within this limited experience, the union from Shem Elikim is that it brings it lamata, not that it conceals it. But in order to bring it lamata, it has to be limited. So the effect of Shem Elikim is not to conceal. It is to reveal at a different level, at a lower level. Whereas if it were not the Shem Elikim, then it would be, the lower level would not be able to get it. Rabbi Yosef, you with me? Huh? Yosu, look at me. You with me? You got it? Huh? A little bit?
The goof is Shem Elikim.
Not the goof, the Hagbolus. The way it comes in the Hagbolah. Everything in the world comes in a limited way.
Well, what's that
The
word?
Shem Elokim is seichel, midas, speech, thought, deed, actions, hands, feet. These are all
Even
koiches,
spirituality.
limited. Huh?
Yeah, even spirituality. בראת השמיים ואת הארץ.
Yeah. But within that, there is this spark of life that is limitless. Okay, so I said I want to start with these parentheses, 4 lines from the top, on Num base. You have the page, Binyamin? 4 lines from the top. Elo, sheyesh bo ze gam kin bechinas hahester. Except that even in that, within that itself, that we say that we do feel the Shem Havaya, in the fact that we feel Odom Margish Hu Chai, in this itself there is bechinas hahester. There is the aspect of Hester. The who, and what is this Hester? Ma she'ein hanivro margish shehu chayes eliki. The fact that the nivro does not feel that this is a chayes eliki. He feels the chayes, margish shehu chay. The fact that margish shehu chay, this itself, as we pointed out, is beyond limit because it's constant. And it's not a question of hergish, of action or anything that has to do with koiches, but it's just the very sense of life itself, which is an essential truth, which is like Shem Havaya. But in that itself there is also a Hagbola, that in a margish shuhu eliki, to koich eliki, shuhu chayis eliki.
Feel he's alive,
Mm-hmm.
he's not feeling it's godly like.
He doesn't feel that this chayis is a likus.
He just don't
What is
understand what.
what is this Indian? Other with chayis eliki. He feels that he's alive, but he feels the life itself that this is like a bodily life. He's alive on the worldly level. Chayes eliki means that this is beyond world. This is a supreme type of chayes. Doesn't feel that this is beyond world. If he felt that this is beyond world, then there would be no hell. He feels the chayes, but he doesn't feel that it's chayes eliki. Like you mentioned before, Rahman Islam, a person passes away, so we know that he continues to live. But that's just something which we have to be mizboinen and understand and know, oh, this chayes cannot evaporate just like that because the body is no longer alive. But if we saw that this is chayes eliki, we wouldn't have to be mizboinen. This chayes eliki, it doesn't dissipate. It's a likus. Therefore, there is the effect of Shem Elokim, the effect of the Hesed at that level too. So that he feels the Chayus, he feels something that is not limited, so to speak, to worldly activity. But nevertheless, he still does not feel that this is like the world has Chayus. Avo ba'emes, but then deeper than that, and the real truth, ain't the Hester Amiti. There is a Hester there, but it's not Hester Amiti. It's not a true Hester. What does it mean it's Hester and not Hester Amiti?
Because it's concealed from the person, but it's not really concealment.
Why? I mean, what does it mean? If it's a Hester, what does it mean Hester
In
Amiti?
a way that he doesn't see it. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Right. That's one thing. Okay, so that explains it. Sharei ba'emes, since that in truth, hu chayes eliki, like you said, in truth it is chayes eliki. What does this mean? In truth it is chayes eliki, but it's Hester, he doesn't see it. So in what way is it that it's not Behester? Now, what's the answer? In truth, everything is Holocaust, but it's a Behester. So this is also the same thing. In truth, even the koyach to walk and to talk and to move your arm is also a koyach haliki. But we say, no, there's a Shema haliki. Because Holocaust is Behester in this. So why you say it's not, that in this chayas, it's not Hester, because the truth is that it is chayas haliki. You understand? I'm asking, like, this is what you said, Binyamin. So, how is that not a Hester? That's because in truth it is Chayes Eliki, but it's a Hester?
If it's emes, so it's have to exist in each level. Because things which is emes is Bariach min hakatse lakatse, it should be emes in each level. If it's emes.
No, if I catch it, don't beheld him. He doesn't feel that it's Chayes Eliki. So it is beheld.
Give the answer when the answer if you contemplate.
No, that's another parenthesis. But here, this point. Ein ze Hester Amita Shani be'emes hu Chayes Eliki. What does that mean? Yeah, but I know it's the same locals, of course. But it's Behelim. Why do you say it's not Helim? Helim means that it's concealed. You don't see it. And you don't see it?
It's not concealed from the mashpia.
No, you're talking about every person. The highs that a person feels, every person feels alive. This is not a mashpia, makabel type of thing. So here's the point that what the Rebbe is saying here. Be'emes ein ze hester amiti sharei be'emes hu chayes eliki. What does that mean? So the explanation is as follows. I'd like you to understand. This is really simple but very revealing. And what revealing is a very significant realization. What this is saying is, when it says be'emes hu chayes eliki, means to say, it's referring to the fact that chayus is not worldly. There is no worldly way to explain chayus. It's not a physical thing. In world, everything in the world is consists of multiplicity, of a combination of many different things. Here we have just chayas, a nakuda. It doesn't consist of any kind of combination or coordination of multiple things. It's so to speak, a truth in its own right. That is not Yosel. That is not a worldly thing. And therefore, since it's not a worldly thing, therefore it is not concealed. You see in the world something that is not worldly. What is the reason that you don't sense that this is Chayes Eliki? Not because you think it's worldly, but because your intellect is limited, you don't pursue that thought. The way people say about life, it's a mystery. I don't know what it is. That's why it's not Magid, it's Chayes Eliki. But nobody will say Chayus is a Gashmizik thing. I'm sorry? But what do you say? Also, going life is also a nefesh. Even life Bichlal is a nefesh. Is a nefesh thing. Atom Chaya school. Atom Chaya school. That the union for Chayus is a union aleki. Different levels. There's nefesh alikis. It's a different level. Nefesh abanis is a different level. And Behemoth and Chayus and is a different level. But life is not something that you can understand. What's going on in this life? It's not a physical thing. So, this is the pshat, that it's not a hester. Be'emes is not a hester. The fact that we don't margish that this is Chayes Eliki is not because it's concealed from us, but because we can only be margish that which we can relate to with our seichel. And we can relate to it with our seichel. And then to go beyond our seichel, say, oh, this is something which is beyond seichel. And we margish that it's Eliki because beyond seichel, that already requires avodah. Beetle. Say, oh, this is something beyond my understanding. And this is avodah because people tend to be limited to what they understand. So therefore it is not really concealed. It's like something that's being shown to you, when you close your eyes, you don't want to look at it. If you don't want to look at it, doesn't mean that it's concealed from you. I can see, I can look at it. This is a similar thing. I can't look at it. I can't fathom it. I can't relate to it with my seichel. I can't look at it. That's Pshat. Be'emes hu Chayes Eliki. We don't mean be'emes in some distant way. In our world, this is Chayes Eliki. And this is what the Rebbe concludes over here. And the person is capable of margish this. When? What does that mean? That the whole reason why he is not margish this is because he's not noisen daito. Not because it's concealed.
It's something that can't be concealed.
Sorry me?
It's something that can't be concealed.
No, it's not. It's not concealed. I don't know what you mean.
It can't be.
It cannot be.
Cannot be.
Yeah, can't. Yeah. This is Chayes Eliki. Be'emes. Even though we don't margish, meaning that we are not margish, is the pshat is because we don't pay attention to it. Like I said, this is similar to one not looking at something that's in front of him. That doesn't mean that it's concealed.
What the word the emes of Chayes Eliki? Meaning you have the Chayes which is not the emes Chayes Eliki. What?
No. The emes means in fact. In this world, in fact, this is a Chayes Eliki.
Even in this world,
It is a Chayes Eliki. Right. It's a godly presence, a direct godly presence. Because the whole meaning of Chayes is because of a godly presence.
You said it before, that's Midas Emes, so it can't be.
Say again.
You said it before, like that's Midas Emes, it can't be hidden, like.
Yeah, you said that. I just want to, when I am, the question that I ask is not, I'm not looking for a theoretical answer. I'm looking a direct answer to the pshat, to the words. It says, be'emes, it says it's not concealed. Even though it's concealed, it's not concealed. Because be'emes, it's chayes eliki. What is that? It's not just a play on words. And if you say be'emes, deep down it's chayes eliki. But a person is not able to see it. So that's how they can see it. That's what a concealment is about. First you say it's not concealed because a person is margish chai, so therefore he actually experiences ayin eliki. But then you say, but no, but he doesn't feel that it's elikus. If he doesn't feel it's elikus, he doesn't experience elikus. So he says, no, he is experiencing ayin eliki, but he doesn't know that it's elikus because he cannot pay attention to it. He's not noisen daitel al zeh. He takes it for granted. He takes it for granted. He doesn't pay attention. What's life? I don't know. The person is preoccupied with his goof and doesn't realize, he doesn't sense the chayas, the significance of that chayas. As a matter of fact, he thinks that the reason that he's alive is because he has a healthy body. And that's the whole thing that he has to focus on. The body should be healthy, and then life is automatic. Doesn't realize that this automatic is a godly presence. And in fact, it is automatic. Because anything in the world is not automatic. It has to be created. But a godly presence, that's automatic. As long as there is the proper preparation, proper catering for it, there's going to be godly gilui.
For example, if I close my eyes and somebody give me some box, I don't know it's box. I don't see it's box, but I feel it something, right? But since my eyes closed, I don't know it's box. So can you see the same? He's feeling like godly chai, but he don't know it's godly chai.
That's right. In other words, he feels the chayas at the gashmish level, he feels chayas. But to go and discern what this chayas means, he doesn't. He knows in data, it's like he will know. This is the phenomenon. Why? How will he know it if knows in data also? If it's concealed? Because the fact is, this is it. It's not concealed. If you pay attention to what you're looking at, you say, "Oh, that's a garment." Okay. V'nimtza, okay? I want to continue if you're with me. Any more questions? Everything? Okay? V'nimtza, thus it comes out, shehahester d'shem elikim, that this concealment of the Shem elikim, eino yehester amiti. It is not a true hester. Ki im adarabah. On the contrary, maybe umegale as ha'oir b'madrega shalamato. It actually brings and reveals the oir at the lower madrega. That's what Shem elikim. Not a hester. It's megal the oir at the lower level. That's the union from Shem elikim. Hanu b'nivroyim ba'al gvul. What is this lower level? The lower level is in nivroyim ba'al gvul, limited nivroyim. She'enon be'erech oir l'shem avaya, who are not be'erech, who can nivroyim, who have no proximity, no relation no way of commonality with the Oyer Hashem Havaya, because they are Nivroim Ba'alei Gvul, and Shem Havaya, this is B'li Gvul, and this, and the Shem Elokim is bringing down, maybe Umagala, that is in Yoyer Bohem, Gamkin Ho'er Havaya. Canal, that the Oyer Havaya should also be mayor in them. Canal, Kniskil. This is the union of Hashem Elokim.
If there was the air of Shem Havaya, there was like within B'mtziz. So
No.
Shem Elokim.
No, this is what the Hashem Elokim makes it possible. That it brings down the oil of Shem Havaya into Nivroim Ba'alei Gvul, so that Hashem Havaya should be present in the oil of Ba'alei Gvul. And this is the whole miracle of this whole thing. There's a Shem Havaya. There's Mamash Gil Elokus in the world, in every individual person. So how does he survive? How does he survive as a Nivra? The answer is, he survives as a Nivra because this Oyer Hashem Havaya will not be recognized by him unless he pays attention to it. Unless he says, Noisin Daito Yalzeh. And what is the meaning for Noisin Daito Yalzeh? What happens then? How does he remain a human being if Noisin Daito Yalzeh, if he sees Elokus? When a person learns something by personal effort, by a logical effort, by his own thought, then that does not overwhelm him. Not overwhelm him? That does not overwhelm him. Because he knows how you got to it. He thought about it. So he has a handle on it. Even though he's looking at Elokus, but he's looking at it, so to speak, in a limited way, the way he can see it. This is the big miracle. I'm going to say something. I don't know to what extent we'll recognize the significance of this. This is the miracle of the fact that we can close our eyes. Closing our eyes, the ability to close our eyes, gives us the sensation that it is I who figure out, who look at the world, not that the world is just a reality in itself. And therefore, I know it in a limited way, the way I want to look at it. This is the same thing. The Elokus is there, unlimited. But we will not be sensitive to it unless we pay attention to it. This paying attention, this is what limits it. So that if I want to pay attention, I see it. When I don't want to pay attention, I don't see it. Therefore, it is limited to my paying attention to it, to the way I see it. And that's why I can remain a Nivra while I have the Gilui Elokus. When it seems to a person, when a person understands something with his seichel, even though the thing that he understands is really an absolute truth, it is true not because he understands it, but because it's an absolute truth. And the concept of an absolute truth is very overwhelming to a person's mind. But because he came to it through his understanding, the sense, the feeling that he has is that it's true to him, because I understand it. Not because of its own truth. And this is what provides the limit to it. So that he doesn't have the actual gilui itself, only that which he filters to, that which he can relate to. You understand? Chaimke.
Yeah, but he's understood by himself, it's more true to him. It's like he's more
It's only his truth. It's not the absolute truth. And that's why it's limited.
I mean, it's true.
The way,
Look like it's the opposite. I understand, even I know something it's true, but I don't understand why it's true. Like I accept the fact. I believe 100% it's like this, but I didn't understand why. Exactly.
right.
But when I understand, so it's more true. It's like it's more not limited. It's like why it's become limited. It's like more real for me.
I'll explain to you. Sometimes when a person dreams, he dreams of something. He dreams of a tragic thing, or whatever, something that he doesn't like. He dreams of something. Some kind of a thing that scares him. And then in the dream, he tells himself, well, this is only a dream. In other words, this is only the way I think of it, but it's not real. And that happens, right? And when that comes, so that calms him down, even though he right now is dreaming it. But there's a difference whether it is his dream or it's a reality. It's a reality that really is scary. But if it's only his own dream, it's not so scary. He can contain it. The same thing is in the seichel. When we understand things, and we understand it, and we have the sensation that it is I who understands it. It's like very true, and I understand it, but it's not as overwhelming, as effective, as when I come face to face with it. The thing itself. I think then it has an overwhelming effect. Like for instance, we always give the mashal. If somebody will describe to you some sensational thing, like the Niagara Falls, so you'll be spoiled. Oh wow, really, this is what it is. And you know it exactly. You know exactly what it looks like, and the entire effect, and the water rushing, and so forth. And then you go and see it yourself. You become much more mispoiled from seeing it yourself than from all the descriptions that you've gotten before. Why? Because when you got in the description, you were constructing it in your mind. So you were constructing it. But now it's not my construction. This is the reality itself. Beyond my construction. This is unimaginable. So this is a similar thing. Anything that a person understands himself, yes, he understands it. It's wonderful. But he's not connecting to the thing itself. Thinking to that thing the way he understands it.
His limits, so he's understanding.
Exactly right. It's his limits, and it's also with his mitzias, with his mind, with his presence. The minute if I cease to be, then I cease to understand it. So it cannot be together. You understand? The understanding cannot be mevatel the person, because if he is in his battle, then he doesn't understand it anymore. Yosef, you wanted to say something before? No?
Well, there's an understand till you see it, no?
That's right. It's ki'ilu you see it, but it's not seeing it.
But when you see Niagara, how do you say Niagara?
Niagara. Niagara Falls.
It's Niagara doesn't change. That become limited or not limited because of person, right? He's he's by himself, separate. But when I only hear about this, so I don't know so much details. I don't know so.
You know
much.
all the details. All the details. More than that. Even if you see a picture of it. Even if you see it in a movie, in a moving form, in a video, it's not going to be anywhere near to the effect that it has when you see it, when you're there.
When I will see it, it's become more. Before I see it, it was limited. I know about this much, not more. When I'm gonna see this, it's become more broad.
So I'm explaining to you, if somebody will describe it to you with all the entire environment, the entire building, everything. It's not because of the quantity of what you're going to see. It's a different reality. When you see it. It's a reality of its own, not because you understand it. Therefore, it's not limited to your understanding.
If I see it, but it's not fit when you don't see, like, or you know it exists, but you didn't see.
You know it exists, and somebody describes it to you with all the details, everything, exactly what it looks like, and how much water falls down, and how tall the fall is, everything. It's not going to have the effect of seeing it. All right?
He says sometimes that when it's your own truth, it's more
I'm
stronger.
sorry, again, what?
Sometimes when it's your own truth, it's more stronger.
When it's your own truth.
It's more stronger sometimes.
It's not stronger. If it's your own truth, if you understand it, it will last longer. If you understand it, it'll stay with you. It'll last longer. Whereas if something is shown to you, so even though it has a very profound effect, and you can never forget it, but then you get distracted and you go into a different world. Like Eden were at Har Sinai, Makabel the Torah, they mamash saw everything, and then they were able to make an Eilyam. Because it was not bipnimius, it's not in the understanding. Something that's bipnimius in your understanding, it's much more difficult to lose it. But in terms of the Gili itself, it's infinitely greater when it's something that is unlimited, that's shown to you. Okay? All right. Let us continue a little bit. Vehine. We have the place, right? K'moi shenizbo eliyil. B'moshel. The same as we explained before in the moshel, the mashpia or mekabel. Then we gave the Moshe Mashpia Mekabel, and we explained, Sheha-Mekabel Yuchal Lovoi, that the Mekabel, because of the Hashpah, because of the teaching of the Mashpia, the Mekabel will be able to, Lovoi, to reach, Gam Kein Le'oimek Pnimis V'Yatzmus Chochmas Orav. He will ultimately be able to reach even to the depth and the Pnimis V'Yatzmus of the Chochmas Orav. Even though the Rav gives him only Chitzonius, but he will really be able to reach to the Pnimius. Pnimius and Atmos Chochma Rav. V'hu, and this is what it says, Mash de'achar arboyim shnin koyim adaita de Rabbi. This is actually in today's parsha. Later on you'll see Rashi says that after 40 years, koyim adaita de Rabbi. The Gemara says, ad abin, till 40 years, a person does not reach the mind of his Rebbe. But after 40 years, he does koyim adaita de Rabbi. And that is true in the Mashpia and the Mekabel. Chaim, you want to ask Rabbi Lipsky if he wants to come here, because it's his time here. You with me, Binyamin? Not much? A little bit?
He's going to give a class over there.
Over there? Okay, we're not going to go much longer anyway, yeah? Question is, so Mashpia Mekabel, the Mekabel is able to come to Pnimis V'Yatmos Chochmos Orav. As we explained then, that through the Chitzonius, he can ultimately reach to the Pnimis and Atmos Chochmos, the Atmos. Remember we discussed this whole union, Chitzonius and Pnimis and Atmos Chochmos. And essentially, we explained then that the Chitzonius depends on the Pnimius. And this is how from Chitzonius you can come to the Pnimius. When you delve down and think into the Chitzonius, you become aware that what is it that makes it so clear? The Chitzonius is because you have a Pnimius insight. And the Pnimius is actually coming from the Atzmas HaChochma. From the Atzmas HaChochma means this is really the insight itself, the truth itself. And this is possible that a person can reach to the dials of his Rebbe. So the similar Indian, they will understand in the Nimshal Gamkin. The Be'emes, in the Nimshal this would be like this, that in truth, Yochel Kolechot V'Yechot, it's possible for every individual, Lovoi Libchinas Gilui Oir Pnimius V'Yatzmius Ein Soy D'Shem Havai. It's possible for everyone to reach that there should be the Gilui of Pnimius V'Yatzmius Ein Soy D'Shem Havai, the Gilui of the Shem Havai by everyone. Sheyoir begilui benafshoi, that this Atzmis Hashem Havaya should be made openly in his nefesh.
But if by the rabbi it take 40 years, so by Hashem Havaya it should be take 400 years.
Not only the years, it's a different kind of avodah. By a rabbi, it's a question of understanding, the chokhmah. This is a different thing. The chokhmah alone, you don't reach Shem Havaya. That should be Meir Begil.
Only which Ruta deliver.
Well, we'll see in a second. Hainu. And that is, it's a different type of Gilui, a different type of approach. This is not true understanding. Alidei Aveidosei Bigia. This is through labor, Bigia, through toil. Igia means something that actually exhausts you, that it challenges you. Igia means to labor very hard. Let me explain the word of Igia for a moment. Sometimes one thinks that if you labor very hard to understand something, that is because I have a limited, my mind isn't so deep and so quick. Somebody who has a better mind, he wouldn't have to labor so hard. The truth of Igia is that regardless how great a person's mind is, how quickly and how well he understands things, there are certain things that require Igia. And without Igia, you're never going to get there. What's the difference? If you have a good mind, so what do you need Igia for? So simply the explanation is that if a person has a very good mind, so he can understand everything under seichel, within seichel. But anything that is above seichel is above seichel. He won't get to it, no matter how good his mind is. But you have to understand to relate to and to reach to something which is above seichel. You won't get it with seichel, no matter how good you want, what a good mind you may have.
In this point, there's no difference. Big chocham or
And in this aspect, there's no difference. This is the Igia. Begias nefesh or begias basar. The labor of the nefesh. In other words, to simply concentrate and control himself and be focused on an inyan. Or begias basar, and actually draining his own flesh. Lahosir hahalomes v'hahesteirim, to remove those things that conceal the inyan of Elokus. What things are concealing the inyan of Elokus? Anything that make a person relate to the physical world, in the sense that this is something which he is interested in, to whatever degree. Anything that is worldly, that entices him, that keeps him anchored in world, will not allow him to relate to Elokus. That's how HaYom is stated. And to remove the HaYom stadium doesn't come to Seichel. This is through Igia. Because the body, the Nefesh HaBahamis, complains. He rebels. You mean, I remember I had somebody in the house from the Balachur Mishpocha. A fine Mishpocha, but they became Balachur, so they have a kosher home with all the Zachem, but you can't give up everything. So the man said, the woman wanted to have Chol of Yisrael in the house. He says, you can't deprive me of ice cream. There's no way. Shabbos and kosher, but ice cream, you can't take it away from me. This is, I can't give that up. They live in an area where there is no kosher ice cream, Chol of Yisrael ice cream. Kosher is one thing, but no Yisrael. He can't imagine being without ice cream. So this is a little bit on the gross side, but anything that connects a person to the Gashmis and says, this I can give up, this is HaYom V'Hasteirim to Elokus. And it has to be, this is real labor to remove the HaYom V'Hasteirim. And then, Harehu Bol Libechinas Gilui Pnimis V'Yatmosei Reisoif. Through that he can reach to a Gilui, to really the aspect of revelation of the Pnimis and Atmosei Reisoif. Mashallah Mailo, which is much, much superior, higher Mibchinas Chitzonius. From the aspect of that Elokus, which is Chitzonius, Shanasem Mokoir Lo Oilamis. That is the creation that creates the world. This is the chitzonius of Elokus, and he can reach up to the pnimis of Elokus. Like in our case, chitzonius is Elokim, and the pnimis is Havaya. And how is it possible? Because the Shem Elokim brings the Shem Havaya here, and through the process of Shem Elokim, through Avodah, you can reach up to any height. All right, so this is it for today. So we had our class. Okay.